Good morning, my lovelies, or I guess it's kind of like afternoon now, maybe, something like that. So I left Rio yesterday and now I'm in Salvador on another little adventure. Slightly different to Rio is that when I was in Rio, like, I love Airbnb. Airbnb is like my thing. I rented out just a room when I was in Rio, and the guy that I was it was like his flat, so when I was staying with him, it was amazing. It was lovely, really made it accommodating for me, which was great. But I kind of like Salvador is like my second home, which is where I am now, and I was just like, I think I just want an entire flat to myself, just some time to chill, relax, recharge. I think like this week is gonna be my week to just collect myself ready for like another hardworking year before I take another holiday. But yeah, so got to Salvador I think yesterday about 7 o'clock, just after 7. Ended up getting an Uber here to this flat. It's a really humble flat. It's really humble is probably the best way that I can put it. It's lovely, really lovely. And I've noticed that there's a hammock here, so I'm gonna have to hang that up at some point because I do love a hammock. And I'm just hoping, praying that this weather just gets so much better, because it seems like I left the UK and I'm just taking that glorious rain and storm with me. I was lucky in Rio, like when I first arrived there, it had like the weather forecast had said that it was probably going to rain the entire week, and I only caught rain the first 2 days, and then it was beautiful weather the rest of the time. Although I did take a beach day, and Dum Dum over here went and burnt her eyeballs, so yay! Which meant that on, I think it was the Friday, I had to trade a beach day for like a museum day, which is fine. I went to Museu do Amanhã, which you guys will have seen in the video, which was amazing as well. My eyes are still a little bit funky. They're like hazy a little, but it is what it is. We're just gonna wear our sunglasses and deal with it. And yeah, now I'm in Salvador. The weather is funky here as well. It is so humid, you have no idea. It's like 30 degrees and raining, but it's fine. We'll deal with it. It is what it is. Went out for breakfast this morning, had my umbrella stolen, living it up. It's fine. I had a little chat with them, and everyone at the cafe was just like laughing because it was like a lady that comes in every single day that just picked up the umbrella and left. So they've lent me one of their umbrellas at least, and I'll go back like tomorrow or whatever and see if they managed to get her to bring back my umbrella, because it's raining all week and I have no umbrella. But it'll be fine. And then I just went to the supermarket, bought some stuff, came back to the flat, and I'm just chilling. And I think I'll pop out now because it's not raining. I might as well make the most of this weather whilst it is like this. And yeah, I think I want some acai. I've waited so long for some acai, so I think I want an acai bowl. So I'm gonna go for a little stroll around the beach because I've missed it so much. And then I think it's gonna be raining this evening, so I might just chill here and see what the weather has in store for me, because it looks like it's starting to clear up. It was supposed to be forecast rain and like thunderstorms this entire week, but we might be all right. So yeah, talk to you guys later. Love you.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you, baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, from Jimmy at Woodstock. They are drumming round in your Redford, shivers down my spinal cord. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding.
Good morning, my lovelies. I feel like I haven't spoken to you guys in quite some time, but I think I ended up just taking this holiday just to kind of chill and rebalance myself. I still try to take tons and tons of videos, and I'll probably slot in the little bits that I videoed and things in this, but I think we last left off with me wanting to go to it was Monday. I think it was like Monday already. So after that, on the Tuesday, I actually went to a friend of mine that I completely forgot about, lovely, reached out and reminded me that he was here in Salvador and invited me to go to a candomblé party. So candomblé is a religion that they have in Brazil. It's quite dominant in the north of Brazil, and it's a religion that kind of came over from the Africans during the slave trade, and at the time the masters didn't allow the slaves to practice their own religion, and the masters at the time, they were all Catholics, like Christians. So if they were to practice a religion, it had to be Christianity, it had to be Catholicism. So in the end, to try and practice their own religion whilst also trying to trick the masters into believing that they were practicing their religion, they kind of merged the religions and ended up with candomblé, which is a mixture of their religion of all the different gods, but to some extent, for some things, it's kind of like Christianity, because where they tried to merge things. But it is a very different kind of religion. Like, they have like their rituals and loads of different gods, you know, for different qualities, a bit like the Greek gods, for loads of different things. And they tend to have a ceremony on the Wednesday. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to the ceremony, so I'll have to do that next time I come to Salvador, because obviously I'm coming back. But they had the the festival party, I guess, celebration, which I went to on the Tuesday with a friend. I really wanted to video some stuff for you guys, but they asked that we didn't. So that's just, you know, in the memory here, and you guys are gonna have to experience it for yourselves. But it was amazing. It was at their big and famous candomblé site. I didn't get to see like the ceremonial rooms, but according to my friend, they are beautiful, and it's all, I think, gold inside. But we were outside in like the rest of the land, and then they had like the ceremony. They have the like ceremonial food as well that they share with everyone that's there. Sacrifices, they had some sacrifices, and already preparing like the meat and stuff for the meal and the rest of the festival later on in the evening. It went on from, I think it started at 12 midday, and I think it goes right on until the night. And then we were just there and experiencing it and watching it, which was definitely different, so different kind of energy as well. I'd say it's almost it's kind of like a heavy energy as well, because it's different, very different. You had the sacrifices and all of those things. It's just very different. So we did that, and then I think that was basically all I did on the Tuesday. It was a really chilled day, really. That was the only thing. It was an amazing experience. I highly recommend that should you ever that you go. It's in Federação here in Salvador, and I'll have to like write down the name or in like the description and things, but it's definitely amazing. And then on the Wednesday, it was a beach day. It's been a bit difficult to try and plan things because the weather has been kind of crazy. The weather forecast says one thing, and then like literally from 1 hour to the next, it's a completely different thing to what it said the day before. It's kind of like the English weather forecast. You can't plan anything because it's constantly changing. Like when I got here, it said that it was going to be stormy the entire week, but I've managed to catch a hell of a lot of sun. So I've kind of been taking it as each day comes. So on the Wednesday, I spent that day at the beach. It was beautiful, so nice. And then Wednesday evening, I just chilled here, got a nice tan, but that was it. And then on Thursday, I decided that it was time to go to, I'm getting all of my days mixed up. So the historic centre here, because I went twice. So I went earlier on in the week, just to have like a little wander, you know, revisit things, stumble across what I stumbled across, took some videos of that as well. And I ended up coming across like this beautiful cafe. Apparently it's a tourist spot as well. When I bumped into like the tour guide on Friday, he told me, he was like, oh yeah, you should go there. And I was like, oh, I actually went there. I stumbled across it. Beautiful view of the coast. So nice. Food's pretty good as well. And it's nice and quiet. I think I managed to go earlier on in the day, but I think it actually properly packs out because of the view and stuff. So I was quite lucky, stumbled across that and managed to go super early in the day. That was amazing. Highly recommend that. It was called Cafelier, I think. That was amazing. So I kind of walked around. So the historic centre is Pelourinho. It's where you've got Elevador Lacerda. It's where you have the, but how do you say it in English? In Portuguese, basilica. It's like a church, like a cathedral. And then it's also got a really famous church a little further away. It's not too far. It's an area surrounded surrounded by churches and museums. It's just got a lot of rich history. And you've got the Igreja de São Francisco, which is beautiful. Highly recommend. It's got a lot of decoration in it. I think they said that it's all painted in gold inside. It's beautiful, definitely beautiful. Obviously took loads of videos of that for you guys. But I also went to the museums. I went to the Mercy Museum, which was so interesting. It was basically it's got like a chapel inside it, and it's where the priests used to congregate and, you know, decide what to do with the people that needed their help. They also had like a lot of donations from the aristocrats in the area, like both the women and men, and they had like portraits of the men. They even included portraits of some of the women, which is not something that they typically did at that time. But because they were like really big beneficiaries, they managed to get themselves up on the wall. And it helped like all of the homeless, a lot of the women. This is also around like during the slave trade, so it was a lot of women that got raped, a lot of women that, you know, became pregnant, or, you know, people that became sick. So it was an area where they kind of took care of the sick, they took care of women. The women that were often raped would tend to leave their babies, as sad as it is, they would leave their babies in the streets, and then the babies would often, you know, get sick and die. So they ended up coming up with a system which is kind of like a conveyor belt in a sense, but it's like a block of wood with compartments in it where they would leave the babies and then like kind of turn it around, which obviously it's a lot better because the babies get to live, and they don't have to deal with the shame, you know, of having been raped and have a child and not be able to care for their child. It's also like, it's psychological. It was a really interesting place. even for like how they've displayed the whole thing, and also it had like a little booklet of all the different patients that they had, where they came from, what their occupation was, and often their occupation was kind of code word for what their real occupation was, and how they ended up with certain disease. So like women's would be like seamstresses, but they'd also be like prostitutes and things, which would explain why they'd have syphilis or whatever other illness they had. And it was all very, very interesting. It had a mixture of people from the slave trade, Portuguese, like it was such an interesting place. I think if you ever come, it's definitely worth going to. But aside from that, I saw the churches and the Jorge Amado Museum, which is a place I really wanted to go because it's very kind of artsy inside, but it's also very interesting. It's one of the most famous writers here for the books he's written, but also politically. He ended up being exiled during the dictatorship here because of his books, because of his political views and influence. I think the same actually also happened. He ended up going to France, ended up being exiled from there as well. It's just very interesting man, and his books as well. So I went to his museum, which was amazing. Did a bunch of stuff that I haven't been able to do ever. I don't know why I didn't do these things when I was here. But yeah, no, I did a bunch of those things. And saw more churches, walked around a bit again, because I like walking around. And yeah. And then on the Friday, the weather was good again, so yesterday. So I spent the day at the beach, which was amazing. And then this friend of mine invited me to go out with him and some of his friends as well. So I met some new people, which was amazing. And I got to see like another part of Salvador that I didn't realize had changed so much. Like so much has changed around here. The places that used to be really active now don't seem to be very active. There seem to be a lot of like abandoned buildings, but like it seems to have moved to other areas, and then certain areas that never used to be like so safe are a lot safer now. So it's been quite nice, a nice experience. So I went to Rio Vermelho, and it's completely different. The little like kiosky thing that was like really famous, like at a acarajé dadinha, which is like the typical food here, and it was like someone that you'd have like the little kiosk, but it had the person's name that'd make it. It was like a little kiosk, little shack thing. Now it's like a full-on business. Like it's funny how things change. So it was amazing to see that. And then yeah, I came home. Before that I had already packed, and now it's Saturday, and I need to go and put my shoes on because I need to catch my taxi to the airport, or my Uber. I called an Uber. I've never used Uber so much in my life, but it's very common here. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to Sao Paulo, spend some more time with the fam, and then hopefully, depending on how this coronavirus situation goes, end up back home in England, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that, and yeah, I will talk to you guys soon, and until shortly, my lovelies. Bye.